Okay, everybody, so this is the review for the quiz on segments and angles. Okay. Question number 1 says, find DE and DF in the diagram below. Okay, so one thing you need to notice is that DE plus EF equals DF. So the equation I'm going to write is I'm going to do 3x minus 1 plus 13 equals 6x. I'm going to solve that for x first. So combine like terms, 3x plus 12 equals 6x. Oops. Subtract 3x on each side, and you get 12 equals 3x. Then divide each side by 3, and you get 4 equals x. I'll put x equals 4 so it looks nicer. And now we have x. That's fine, but now we have to find DE, and then we have to find DF. So let's do DE next. DE equals 3x minus 1. And we know that x is 4 because we just solved for that. So DE equals 3 times 4 minus 1. That means that DE equals 12 minus 1. DE equals 11. And now let's do DF. DF equals 6x. And remember, we know that x is 4 from earlier, so 6 times 4 is 24. And notice how I write the answer. I put DE with no bar equals 11. DF with no bar above it equals 24. And check over your answer. If DE is 11 and I do 11 plus 13, that does give me 24, which is what I got right there. Okay. Example 2. S is the midpoint of RT. That means S is halfway in between R and T. So it means that segment RS is congruent to segment ST. And it says that RS equals negative 10x plus 5. So I'm just going to write that right here. It also says that ST equals negative 7x plus 11. So I'll put that right here. Find RS, find ST, and find RT. So again, these are congruent because S is the midpoint. So these are congruent, which means that the measures are equal. So I'm going to write down for my equation, negative 10x plus 5 equals negative 7x plus 11. That's my equation. Solve that for x, so get all the x's on one side. So I will add 7x to each side, and I get negative 3x plus 5 equals 11. Subtract 5 on each side. Negative 3x equals 6. And then divide by negative 3, you get x equals negative 2. Now, x can be negative. The variable can be negative. The segments cannot be negative. So let's go find RS. Negative 10x plus 5, and we know that x is negative 2. So negative 10 times negative 2 is 20. 20 plus 5 gives you 25. RS equals 25. Let's do ST next. ST equals negative 7x plus 11. And we know that x is negative 2. So negative 7 times negative 2. Plus 11. Negative 7 times negative 2 is 14. 14 plus 11 equals 25. Now that should make sense because S was the midpoint, so this segment has to be the same as that segment. So 25 and 25. And finally, you need to get RT. RT is 25 plus 25. So RT equals 50. Okay, on to number 3. The diagram below, the measure of angle XWY equals 57 degrees. XWY, let me label that. That's 57. And the measure of angle YWZ, that's 65 degrees. What is the measure of angle XWZ? So the measure of angle XWZ equals, well, this is XWZ right here. So I'm going to simply do 57 plus 65. And that's it. So 122 degrees. Again, notice how I write that. Measure of angle XWZ equals 122 degrees. And that's my answer. Find the value of x in the diagram below. So again, these two angles are labeled as being congruent. So I'm just going to do 5x plus 11 equals 26. Subtract 11 on each side, 5x equals 15, and then x equals 3. If you want to check that, 5 times x, 5 times 3 is 15, plus 11 equals 26. Check. Okay, the last page. That's our diagram. Number 5, name an angle that's vertical to angle DHC. So this is angle DHC right there with the star. So a vertical angle to that would be this angle with the star. Vertical angles are two angles whose sides are opposite rays. So the answer is that angle with the star, which is angle, that's a G, GHA. Okay, let's erase those stars and let's move on to the next one. Name an adjacent angle to angle FHG. Okay, so FHG is that angle right there. So an adjacent angle would be an angle that's right next to it, that has a common vertex and a common side, but no other points in common. So let's see, there's a bunch of options. How about we do this one right there with the star? How about angle FHE? Sounds good to me. Or you could say angle GHA. I mean, there's more than one right answer for these. Sometimes it's more than one right answer. Name a linear pair means name two angles that form a line. So what if I do angle AHB? Angle AHB, which is that one with the star. How about if I say angle AHB and angle BHD? That should work. Those are two angles that form a line. Two angles whose sides are opposite rays. Name a pair of complementary angles for number 8. Okay, so I mean, if you think about it, if this angle right here is 90 and that's 50, this one has to be 40. So you can think about it like that. So how about we just use those two? How about we say angle FHE and angle EHD? Remember, complementary means two angles that add up to equal 90. So I'll say angle FHE and angle EHD. Again, there's more than one right answer. Number 9, what is the measure of angle GHA? So it's that one with the star. So all these angles up here, these 4 angles that form that straight angle, they have to add to 180. These 4 angles have to add to 180. So 50 plus 40 is 90, plus 40 is 130, So this one has to be 50 degrees. So they all add to 180. So the measure of angle GHA equals 50 degrees. And number 10, what is the measure of angle FHE? I already labeled that one up here. That is 40 degrees. I established that earlier in the problem. And that is the end to that review on segments and angles.